Water-weary Kentuckians brace for another round of potential flooding.
We received a lot of rain last night, but the potential exists for even more rain tonight. A flash flood watch in effect for the overnight period. I'll let you know who's affected and where the rain is and where it's going to go.
Condemned killer Harold McQueen talks about death row from the inside, and death penalty opponents protest on the outside in the Capitol.
And reading between the lines in the fight against illiteracy in Kentucky. You can help. We'll take your calls and questions.
And Tubby Smith introduces his coaching staff at UK next.
You're watching WLEX-TV 18.
Good evening, I'm Robyn Rabbeth.
And I'm Tom Kenny. The floods are back around this state. In fact, the entire state of Kentucky is now under a flash flood watch. Melissa Reizian went to Wolfe County today, where some there are calling it the worst flooding they can remember.
I thought I might have something to look at, but there wasn't nothing there to see.
This will be the second time Rob Oliver has had to start over from nothing. A fire several years ago left him homeless. And now this usually quiet creek has swept his new home away.
Most all of it's my stove and washer over here. Where it got there?
It's the tile of your floor, huh?
Yeah. Kitchen floor. And there's my bed mattress.
Rob's trailer started here, floated down the creek, crashed into this culvert, and ended up across the road. Now, construction crews are fishing Rob's belongings out of the water. The reality is sinking in.
It was my only possession, you might say. I found a tent that had my trailer. That might be what I have to make it on from now on for a while.
Appropriately, this is called Swift Creek. You can see how high the water got by the flattened grass on the banks. And you can tell how Swift Creek was by this part of Rob's trailer that ended up a quarter mile from where it began. But instead of focusing on his loss, Rob focuses on how much worse it could have been. He could have been home, asleep.
Person, he loses him, but, you know, it's his health he's got to kind of be thankful for, I guess. You know, you can replace a trailer if worst comes to worst.
In Campton, Melissa Reizian, 18 Action News.
The Wolfe County Sheriff's Department says it's mostly cleanup now. Most roads are reopened, and anyone who had to leave their homes are back in them. That is, if those homes are still standing.
Well, Lexington may not have had what Campton had, but there have been plenty of flooding problems here in the past 24 hours. City workers say they've had a lot of calls from people with water in their basements, some with stranded cars. Several streets were closed last night, but a spokesperson says it's not half as bad as the flood in March. Still, as Herman Hall reports, that's little comfort for homeowners who pay close attention when the rain falls.
A small lake. That's what Jill Rout's backyard looks like after a good rain.
This is a major problem. And it's not just one time it does it or the other time it does it. Every time it rains, this is what I get.
That's exactly what she got Monday, too. A good soaking. Something clogging the storm drain pipe stops water from flowing through. And she blames the city.
All this stuff is washed into our yard, and the city tells us it's our responsibility to clean it up. They can't come on private property and clean it up, even though it comes from all the way down from Green Acres Park.
Mrs. Rout says she's had this problem off and on for the 5 years she's lived here, and swears she's been given the runaround. The city is responsible for the pipes, but she believes the clogged part is underground on Lexmark's property. And now she doesn't know where to turn.
I mean, the garage is coming apart again. We've had that fixed twice in the last 2 years. And every time it rains, that water just comes up, stays there. The ground is saturated, which is pulling our bricks apart.
The city's chief engineer, Dave Ucotter, knows about flooding in the area, but says it's a job for Streets and Roads. Streets and Roads head man, Leo McMillan, says one of his crews corrected flooding problems here fewer than 3 weeks ago. It means nothing to Jill Rout unless something changes.
Why can't we get something? I mean, we pay taxes just like everyone else. We pay sewer bills just like everyone else. Why can't we get something to better our neighborhood?
In Lexington, Herman Hall, 18 Action News.
And Streets and Roads said it corrected Mrs. Rout's flood problems back in May. A Lexmark spokesperson says that city workers are welcome on the property when they need to fix problems like the one that exists now. The City Division of Engineering promised to take a look at the drain by tomorrow. Unfortunately, we may be adding insult to injury with, yes, more potentially flooding rain headed our way. Tim Drawbridge has the details.
Tom, as expected from last night, we were thinking that the potential for some bad weather for tonight into the overnight period would come, and it definitely is knocking on the door. I know we've all been looking for some sunshine, but just be thankful we had the fog this morning and mostly cloudy skies this afternoon, because the sun would have just boiled this atmosphere just like boiling a pot of water on the stove to go cook some hot dogs per se. Flash flood watch in effect across most of the state except for those of you up in Williamsburg, over to Maysville, over to Ashland. This is from now until tomorrow morning. We've seen some showers across the southeastern part of the state, some heavy rain across Knox and Whitley counties with flash flood warnings that expired at 4:10 this afternoon. Where is it raining right now? Northeastern Madison County. You've gotten hit pretty hard over the past week. Keep an eye to the rivers and the streams north of Richmond right now, as well as Jessamine County, northern Garrett County, just through northern Lincoln County as well. Spotty activity western Pulaski County into Casey County. Those of you in Campbellsville, Lebanon, and Springfield will be raining there as well soon. And this is the way the radar looked at 4:30. Not much going on, right? Little daytime heating. All the ingredients that we thought were coming together last night are, and that's why we have the potential for the heavy rain scenario for the overnight period tonight. Forecast for tonight heading on home. Flash flood watch in effect for the overnight period. Rain heavy at times with thunderstorms as well. Down to 66. For your Wednesday, more rain, more thunderstorms, 77. Finally, on the extended forecast, we dry out with more typical June weather, Tom and Robyn.
All right, thank you very much, Tim.
It is not the rain that's causing problems down in Manchester. It is a huge fire. A police dispatcher says 20 or so apartments went up in flames around 3 this afternoon in that Clay County city. There were some elderly people, we're told, inside a few of the homes, but police broke down their doors and got them out safely. Fortunately, no one was hurt in the fire. Firefighters say that they expect to be working the scene until the early morning hours. No word yet on any cause. We do have a crew at the scene, and we'll show you what happened tonight at 11.
As the days tick away until Kentucky's first execution in 35 years, lawmakers say they want criminals to have a choice in how they die. Linda Wager was in Frankfurt for that today, and she joins us now.
Robyn, a state legislative committee today overwhelmingly approved a measure that would let death row inmates choose whether they die by injection or electrocution. But the vote was more symbolic than anything, since the full legislature isn't in session. But that didn't stop lawmakers from preaching about the death penalty. In fact, at times today, it sounded like a Christian revival, with legislators on both sides of the issue quoting scripture. Louisville Representative Bob Hellringer tried to add an amendment that would have been the first step toward outlawing the death penalty in Kentucky. Hellringer reminded lawmakers that, according to God, all life is sacred, even the life of a condemned killer.
I'm aware of him advocating for, and I believe that in my heart. Now, I'm going to live that philosophy. If it costs me this seat that I'm sitting in, I'm going to believe in that principle.
The Bible supports our position of believing that government does have the authority to execute those who take innocent life.
Now, lawmakers voted to uphold the death penalty in Kentucky, but a room full of death penalty opponents watching today's proceedings say they're not going away.
Thanks for the report, Linda.
Well, in fact, that group later held a protest in the state capitol. They say it's wrong for a country that believes in human rights to also allow capital punishment. They also say that allowing inmates to choose how they die doesn't change that fact.
I understand the motivation behind Representative Bowling's attempts to bridge this contradiction by offering individuals a choice of a quote-unquote more humane way to die. But such reforms can only be transparent fig leaves that cannot hide the ugliness of state-sanctioned executions.
Death penalty opponents plan a candlelight vigil outside the governor's mansion this Thursday.
Today's action by state lawmakers will not affect the man scheduled to die in Kentucky's electric chair next month. Harold McQueen is on death row for murdering Richmond convenience store clerk Becky O'Hearn. His execution is set for 2 weeks from today. McQueen says spending 16 years on death row has taught him the value of life.
I am a human being. I'm loved, I'm wanted, and I think there's just something here for me to do.
McQueen says that he could help young people by telling them to stay away from drugs. He claims he was high the night he killed Becky O'Hearn. Lexington's fire chief is defending his department in front of city leaders.
And if you have trouble reading, we're here to help you take an important and brave step. Literacy is the topic on tonight's Call-In.
We'd like to thank the federal government for reintroducing the $2 bill in recognition of Hardee's incredible 2-for-2 offer. 2 delicious double cheeseburgers for just $2. Hardee's, what will they think of next? What makes Hardee's tender steak sandwiches so great? Well, it's all in how you slice the beef. Real thin. Hardee's tender steak sandwiches. Sliced thin to be tender and juicy for lunch and breakfast. Hardee's, what will they think of next?
Nice Lexus.
Well, I am a professional financial planner.
Yeah, I bet you are. So, did you get a road sensing suspension? 275 horsepower engine? Standard all-speed traction control?
No.
Well, then you did get a good deal, right?
No.
What kind of a financial planner are you?
Seville SLS with the North Star system. At $4.99 a month, it combines power, control, and technology like no other car in its class.
So would you like my card?
Oh, no. Fine.
Here's a troubling statistic. In the state of Kentucky, about 1 in 17 people are functionally illiterate. That means they can't read traffic signs, fill out a job application, or even read elementary-level books.
It's a hidden problem, but it is easy to get help. And that's the focus of our call-in tonight. And Bowdan's in our boardroom with a panel of literacy experts.
Robyn, I'm here with volunteers of Operation Read. Now, they are aware of the importance of people learning how to read, but they also know many people are too embarrassed to say they can't. Well, we met up with one woman who faced that fact, but she said she didn't let that stop her. She got over her embarrassment, learned how to read, and it changed her life.
I'm glad that God put me on this earth. He gave me a good, healthy life.
5 months ago, Mary Eva couldn't have done what she's doing. She couldn't read, but now she's able to read with the best of them and write her own prose. But Mary didn't get this talent from her high school education. She graduated, but
when I was going to school, they didn't really teach me how to read. And when I came to Operation Read's office, they taught me how to read better in my life.
Mary says it was tough at first.
They gave us books and they was reading them and I was reading them too. They're like elementary books.
She can read novels now. Mary had no idea that reading could give her so much freedom. Grocery shopping got easier. She mastered the computer and she even improved her cooking.
I can read now. I can read the recipes.
But perhaps most important, she's able to pass on her newfound ability.
I can read to my 2 kids now, Casey and Gage. I want to say that.
They learn new words every day. It's pleasures like those that make Mary encourage others to overcome their fears and get help.
I was embarrassed, but now I'm not.
Now you can read.
Now I can read, thanks to Operation Read's office.
Robyn and Tom, the volunteers here are waiting for your calls, 255-4404. The calls are confidential. Many people are embarrassed, but these volunteers want you to know it's nothing to be embarrassed about. You can get help. Back to you guys.
Oh, and we just saw how wonderful Mary looks, and she's learned how to read and changed her life. Hopefully some other people will too. Thanks a lot, Ann. Well, I guess Tubby now is the man we are counting on to take the basketball Wildcats to another title.
Of course, Tubby has to count on his coaching staff to help with that task. We're going to introduce you to the men behind the scenes coming up in sports.
And we may need Tim to introduce us to the sun again. The forecast is headed your way.
We have a flash flood watch in effect for the overnight period. I'll explain who's going to be affected, as well as a drying out period coming up just in time for the weekend. We're all going to need that. That's all coming up in weather in just a bit.
Missed any of NBC's Comedy Tuesday, then this week it's new to you. First, the Mad About You road trip, where Paul experiences male bonding. Ow! What are you, nuts? Then that classic Frasier with Eddie and the dog psychiatrist.
You give a dog an hour, you can bill him for 7.
And have you seen this Caroline moment? If not, it's new to you, NBC Tuesday.
Dateline Tuesday, the most expensive, prestigious, luxurious cars on the market. But how do they handle this? Dateline tonight.
It's time for the Jeep National Sales Event. And what event would be complete without the usual smiling faces? Cool refreshments, colorful decorations, and now great values on the legendary Jeep Grand Cherokee. With 4-wheel drive and an available V8, it's capable of just about anything. See for yourself at the Jeep National Sales Event. Going on now with all the usual fanfare, not to mention a few balloons. Check one out at your Jeep and Eagle dealer.
In 1989, a girl named Tennessee Curtis came to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital with a rare cancer. We treated her for 3 years, and in the end, we lost the battle. But what we learned from Tennessee helped us develop treatments that have saved the lives of Jacob, Aaron, Tiara, and hundreds of other children in places around the world. Even when we lose a child, in a way, they live on.
Bozzoli spaghetti and double sliced pizza are doubly delicious on brand new pasta and pizza combos. Try them on the double.
There's never going to be a better time than now to get together with your Toyota dealer.
Well, I've been thinking about a new Toyota and the feeling that I get, and I know I gotta go to where the deals are better. Let's get together.
Get the year's biggest savings on a Tacoma 4x4 up to $2,650, or lease that Tacoma for less than ever, just $169 a month. Payments like these are right out of the 60s, and they'll be gone again soon, so hurry.
Tim Drawbridge in for Stuart Shepard. A lot of folks dealing with some big flooding problems again. Are they going to get a break?
Doesn't look like it, unfortunately, tonight. We've got enough moisture in the atmosphere right now. We know the humidity's up, that the potential does exist. Everything's coming together as expected from last night, that we will have some heavy rain across the Commonwealth. Definitely the potential for an inch or two, perhaps 3, like we saw down across the southeastern counties. Those of you in Lee, Owsley, Wolf, Powell, Breathitt counties, Perry counties know exactly what I'm talking about from last night. Let's go ahead and check it out the way it looks here in Lexington right now. Cloudy and 73 degrees. Humidity, it's up there at 87%. The barometer, 29.78. It is steady, and winds are out of the east at 10 miles per hour. Our high today in Lexington, 77. And like I said before, thank goodness we did not get the sunshine today. Otherwise, we would have been in the low 80s, and things could be a little bit worse potentially tonight. Morning low 65, some very dense fog early this morning. Precipitation-wise, thus far, only a trace, but for the month, 7.5 inches. Pollen and mold for your Tuesday, low with the grass being the major pollen, high in the mold category. Temperatures across Kentucky. Popped a little bit of sunshine in Somerset, 82 there, 78 in London, that is, 74 Jackson, 73 as well as Frankfort, 74 up in Covington. Saw a band of showers across the southeastern part of the state earlier today, but the rain starting to pop now from about western Pulaski, northwestern Pulaski County, heading up towards Lincoln County, as well as those of you in Casey County right now. If you're in Campbellsville, probably getting a couple of drops, but it looks like it'll primarily be across northern Taylor County into Marion County into Washington County. We got some heavy rain, it looks like right now, across northwestern Madison County, and it's a slow mover too. So keep an eye on the creeks down across that part of the county. And that's again heading up towards Clark County. So you can expect this cell is not too far of a distance between Richmond and Winchester, but it looks like it may take an hour to get there, so that's the potential for the heavy rain. The upper level system still back out to our west. The radar started at 4:30 with the loop here, and that amount of moisture still yet to come. So that's the reason why, as we check out the flash flood watch in the forecast for tonight, we will have the potential for heavy rain and thunderstorms for most of the overnight period. We'll drop down to 66 by tomorrow morning. And for Wednesday, the middle part of the week is going to shape up as the beginning as well. More rain and thunderstorms. 77. A nice day on Thursday after some fog, 82, and the hazy, lazy days of summer start the drying trend out for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Perhaps a garden variety thunderstorm, mid-80s.
Nice to see more sun than clouds on that.
For a change, and everybody will be a lot happier, too.
Mm-hmm. Thanks a lot, Tim.
Thanks, Tim. You know, we were wondering, what's Rick Pitino been up to these days?
Yeah, coming up in sports, we'll talk to the former UK coach about his future and the future of the Kentucky Wildcats.
I'm Ryan Lemon. Also coming up in sports, we'll introduce you to Tubby Smith's new coaching staff. Now, Tubby's here in Lexington, and he got 2 coaches from here in Georgia, and he got 1 coach from all the way over here in Oregon. We'll introduce you to these guys when we come back.
SOS, Green Seriously Overstock Sale. Due to the incredible success of the Toyota plant sale, our lot is bursting with over 300 used cars of all makes and models. We're your used car source for Toyotas in Central Kentucky. We have used cars starting as low as $2,000. Toyotas, Lincolns, Mercury, Chevys, Fords, Hondas, Nissans, Lexus. We have them all. SOS, the Seriously Overstock Sale. Going on now at Green's Toyota Lincoln Mercury.
Summer came into Bob Evans one day. It was barefoot. We don't normally allow that. Well, as you can imagine, summer has its own taste. It wanted fresh. So we created some lively new dishes just for summer. Salads bursting with crisp lettuce and onions. Just pick strawberries and grapes. And omelets stuffed with vine-ripe tomatoes and peppers. All of which help summer fit into that swimsuit rather nicely. So we'll keep the fresh dishes coming.
Coach, thanks for inviting me to meet the college president. This is really great.
Great? Like Osmos from Great Southern Wood.
That's right, Coach. Our wood comes to you clean and straight and backed by a lifetime guarantee.
Eat up, Jimmy. We have to meet the president in 20 minutes.
Whoops. That will come right out.
So remember, if it doesn't say Osmos on the yellow tag, believe me, you don't want it.
Woke up this morning and dragged myself out of bed. Went on into the kitchen, my fridge was dead. Got my chef dirty laundry, went down to my machine. That's when I discovered my clothes weren't even clean. Yeah.
We've got the cure for your blues with all major appliances on sale this week at Best Buy.
18 Action Sports is brought to you by Berea Ford, where we'll beat your best price regardless.
Ryan's here now to tell us about the UK men's basketball coaching staff really coming together now, huh?
They haven't been in town very long, but they've already been working very, very hard, especially on recruiting. You know, we heard J.R. Van Hoos say yesterday that Coach Finney, one of the new coaches, has already been recruiting him. So these guys stepped in and got to work immediately. We got our first look at the men who will be sitting alongside Tubby Smith on the UK bench next season. Today, the new UK head basketball coach officially introduced his first coaching staff at UK for next season. 2 coaches, Mike Sutton and Sean Finney, follow Smith from Georgia to Kentucky. Both coaches also worked with Tubby at Tulsa. George Felton is the newest member of the staff. Felton leaves his assistant's job at Oregon State to come to UK. Smith was also Felton's assistant at South Carolina in the late 80s.
I feel very privileged and honored to be associated with his staff, to represent his program, and I feel really good about the confidence and the confidence that he's had in me to be a member of the staff.
It was definitely a dream come true, having worked at Pikeville College in Kentucky and be able to see what Kentucky basketball is all like, growing up in West Virginia, seeing Kentucky basketball, and feel very blessed. God tapped me on the shoulder and gave me a unique opportunity to be in the premier basketball program in the country.
Having familiarity with the other coaches, I think, is important, and knowing that we can work cohesively to get the job done here, which is to continue to build upon the tradition that is already established here. When you think about basketball, you're obviously talking about the winningest program in the country, both percentage-wise and number of wins, and so Kentucky certainly is the premier program.
Sutton will be Smith's number 3 assistant coach, meaning he is restricted from recruiting off campus. Coming up in the next half hour, we will hear what Coach Smith has to say about his new staff. Smith's successor, Rick Pitino, his predecessor, I guess I should say, Rick Pitino hasn't slowed down a second since leaving the Wildcats for the Boston Celtics. Pitino has been busy with his continuing book promotional tour and getting ready for the upcoming NBA draft.
And actually, it's been wonderful. It really is so typical of 8 years ago when I first came to Kentucky. So much optimism, so much positive reinforcement that we're going to turn around the Celtics, and it's wonderful. I really enjoy the building part of it. The final destination is great, it's wonderful, but the journey is what it's all about. Tubby and I met for about 2 hours, but to be quite frank, if you're a friend, if you're a sort of a mentor, the best thing you can do is get away, let him do his job. He's a terrific basketball coach. He needed my help about 6 years ago when I first hired him to try and help him learn the system. He doesn't need my help anymore. Matter of fact, he could help me.
Well, there have been a few roster changes on the Kentucky boys all-star basketball team. Former Anderson County star Jonathan Beasley will not play in the annual series against those nasty Indiana All-Stars, and instead, Harrison County's Rob Ogden and South Laurel's Kelly Day will now suit up for the Kentucky Stars. Game 1 of the Kentucky-Indiana All-Star game is this Saturday in Indianapolis. Some of the best young basketball players in the Bluegrass are hooping it up in Frankfort this week at the boys' state 17 and under AAU basketball tournament. Among those, Lexington Catholic and their newly added big man, Nathan Pop. Pop gets the soft iron there for 2 of his 17 points. Then it's Steve Searcy picking up the loose ball in the paint and getting the finger roll as Catholic looks impressive in knocking off Scott High by 25, 83-58. So how do you think Chicago Bulls big man / sometimes girl celebrates winning an NBA championship? Well, Dennis Rodman was back in the playing arena, but he was in a wrestling rink instead of a basketball court. Rodman teamed up with wrestling legend Hulk Hogan as part of the New World Order in the WCW. As you would expect, Rodman and the Hulkster won their match, and then how do you think they celebrated? In true Rodman fashion, they spray painted their opponents. The crowd seems happy about it there, don't they? Well, let's go. This guy come up with next. Well, stay tuned because coming up in sports in the next half hour, Tubby Smith talks about his new coaching staff at UK. There are some future basketball stars hooping it up at Transylvania University this week, and we will also tell you the status of Cincinnati Red shortstop Barry Larkin. We've also got some UK football news. 2 players that Hal Mumme will be counting on next year, apparently not going to be back next season. We'll have the details of that coming up as well.
All right, some big news there. Thank you, Ryan. Well, with all the rain we've been having, you may have some water in your basement.
But you're going to meet a man who says that the high water caused him to lose $100,000 last night in rare and endangered snakes.
And don't lose out on life if you can't read. Learn. For advice, call 255-4404.
We can't get you on the waiting list at a big, fancy restaurant. But we can have you sitting down to a gourmet meal in minutes. Winn-Dixie. More choices, low prices.
I'm headed to Dairy Queen on the double. Got my mind set on 2 doubles for $2. I've always got an appetite for a great deal. Yum! The double burger's 2 all-beef patties thick, both 33% bigger than any quarter-pound burger. And right now, you get 2 for $2. 2 DQ delicious double burgers for $2. Life just got twice as good. For hot eats, cool treats, think DQ.
You are a visionary.
Gannon was the guy who got the helmet.
You see the successes your company will achieve. You've mapped out your goals. Now you need a partner who shares your vision and has the creativity and financial resources to get you there. Take control of your company's future. Follow your own lead.
It's a Chevy truck invasion. Kentucky wanted more Chevy trucks. You wanted extended cabs. You wanted 3 doors. You wanted them. And now they're here in the heart of Kentucky, including Chevy full-size pickups, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And now you can lease a Chevy full-size pickup with all this for just $199 a month. See your local Chevrolet dealer now.
We can't send you to the Amazon in search of the healing cinchona bark. But we can introduce you to a great medicine man. Winn-Dixie. More choices, low prices.
You're watching WLEX-TV 18.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tom Kenny.
And I'm Robyn Rabbeth. The rain has moved from depressing to dangerous. Nearly the whole state is under a flash flood watch tonight. And Tim Drawbridge is joining us now with news of even more rain on the way.
Yeah, we've got the potential, now that the ingredients are in place, for perhaps 1 inch to 2 inches in some locales. Like last night, Jackson got over 3 inches of rain in a very short period of time. So it's something you have to keep your eye on as we go through the overnight period. Received a couple of phone calls about concerns with the Kentucky River. No need to worry about rivers as large as that. It's the small rivers and the creeks, like the ones in Powell and Estill counties that were overflowing their banks last night, we need to worry about. Right now in Lexington, we've got 73 degrees, cloudy skies in town. Humidity 87%. The barometer standing at 29, 78, and winds out of the east at 10 miles per hour. Our high today in Lexington, 77, and again, I repeat, if we had the sunshine today with everything coming together, things would be a lot worse potentially than what we are facing tonight. Morning low 65 with some pretty dense fog. Precipitation-wise, thus far in Lexington, only a trace, but again, over 7.5 inches for the month. Flash flood watch in effect for the Commonwealth, except for those of you in Williamstown, over to Maysville, over to Ashland for the overnight period until tomorrow morning. So if you're in Somerset, Campbellsville, Bardstown, Danville, Jackson, Saundersville, this part of the state that get hit hard last night, really keep an eye on the creeks and the streams tonight. Unfortunately, we don't have daylight to contend with here. Everything's going to be happening at night again like it did last night. Pop the sun in Somerset, 82, 78 in London, 76 Jackson, 74 up in Covington. Some rain across the southeastern part of the state earlier today, but with some more daytime heating and more moisture coming up from the south, we're popping the showers and the thunderstorms from Johnstown to the north of Somerset now, between Mount Vernon over to Stanford, and then the heaviest cell right now, producing heavy rain across northern Madison County along 75 north of Richmond, south of Lexington, and then this is heading over towards Clark County. There's more back here with the upper level system, and it looks like, yes, rain in the forecast for tonight and again tomorrow. Flash flood watch in effect for the overnight period. The potential for 1 inch to 2 inches, and in some locales 3 inches of rain, 66 by tomorrow morning. And for your Wednesday, the same story. More rain and thunderstorms, 77. Your extended forecast is going to show you we finally start to dry out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Perhaps some garden variety thunderstorms by the weekend, but by that time, it's hazy, hot, and humid, and we start to dry out with some sun for a change.
I knew we'd eventually hear hazy, hot, and humid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and it looks like it's something that's going to build for a while, too.
All right, thank you, Tim.
Well, as Tim alluded to, last night's weather left some Kentuckians up a creek, or at least it left their homes that way. In Wolfe County, Rob Oliver's trailer is now in pieces after floating down an overflowing creek and through that culvert.
Well, I called this morning. I called about the since the water had got up in my yard, and he said yes. That the trailer's on one side of the road, and the other part's over in the church house.
Now crews are dragging Rob's furniture out of the creek, and he's contemplating living in the one thing he was able to salvage, a camping tent you see there. Most everything else in Wolfe County is drying out tonight. Police say the roads have reopened, and anyone who had to be evacuated is now back in their home.
In neighboring Powell County, some Slade snakes weren't so lucky. 12 snakes from the Kentucky Reptile Zoo died in the flood. Some were rare or endangered. Jim Harrison runs the zoo and milks venomous snakes to make medical vaccines. He tried everything he could to save the reptiles.
I swam in to get some of the animals, and then also the alligators, we moved the alligators so that they wouldn't get loose or anything like that. So we tried to keep everything from hitting the fence. And we got here around 11, and we were here until 6 this morning.
Harrison says it'll probably be this weekend before the zoo reopens.
As we first told you last night, a new state report had some harsh words for the Lexington Fire Department, all in response to the death of one of its men on the job. Nancy Cox is in our newsroom with more on how the department is now defending itself.
As we told you last night, the fire department is not facing any sanctions or fines, but there are changes already in the works. Of course, we're talking about this fire on Addison Avenue in February. Fireman Chuck Williams died here. A report from the State Division of Occupational Safety and Health criticized the department because no one was in constant contact with Williams and his partner when they went into the burning house. It was also critical of the department's communication system. Today, Fire Chief William Holleran told the Urban County Council he's taking the report seriously and is already making changes.
I didn't want anyone to get the impression that the fire department had been waiting on this report before we took any action at all. So a lot of these things had started immediately after the incident took place.
Chief Holleran went on to say he's added more radios, and the city has approved a brand new $1.3 million radio system. And he says there's still an internal investigation going on, as well as a review of all the safety policies and procedures.
All right, Nancy Cox, thanks for the update.
A bad accident on Man of War tied up traffic for hours in Lexington this morning. Witnesses tell police a tractor-trailer ran a red light at the intersection of Man of War and Alumni Drive. 3 cars wound up colliding with the truck. Rescue crews had to use the jaws of life to get one woman out of her car. She is in good condition tonight at UK Hospital. Police say everyone else came out okay.
Statistics show that too many adults in this state simply can't read.
That's right. We're going to have more on that. We have a literacy call-in tonight. We hope you'll give us a call. We'll check out on that with just a minute. And now, here's what's coming up on Nightly News.
Tonight, after spending a lifetime raising their children, so many couples now are home alone. The Empty Nest, next on NBC Nightly News.
Ford's Great Percent event on Ford cars is about to end, and there's never been a better time to buy. Get low 1.9 financing or $1,000 cash back on Taurus, America's #1 selling car for the 5th year, and on Escort with standard dual airbags and safety cell construction. Get 1.9 financing or $500 cash back on Ford Contour with refined styling and responsive power. Save now during the final days of Ford's Great Percent event, only at your local Ford dealer.
You know, I've seen people come into the meat department and they don't see what they want, or they don't know what they want. Sometimes they don't ask for help. Well, I tell them, hey, it's our job to help. I say, you don't want to put me out of work, do you?
You know, the great thing about an Arby's roast beef sandwich is that it gives you a chance to express yourself.
Express yourself.
How you add your sauce to Arby's roasted beef is a very individual thing.
Yeah.
How you dab, how you squiggle. Depends on how you're feeling. Make your own Arby's roast beef sandwich and find out how enjoyable self-expression can be.
Express yourself.
Looks like the Powerball jackpot is a real monster.
Must race to buy a ticket.
Low interest, cash back, low lease.
You want a new car or minivan, and we want to sell you one. It's that simple. At Chrysler and Plymouth, we want what you want. Now get low 3.9% interest rates for up to 60 months. That's right, 60 months. Or you can get up to $1,500 cash back. Or get up to $2,000 in total values on Chrysler and Plymouth minivans. But only for a limited time, and only at Chrysler and Plymouth. Because we want what you want. It's that simple.
18 Storm Team Weather is brought to you by Jeep Eagle.
Former President Jimmy Carter is campaigning in central Kentucky today.
Not for votes, but for Habitat for Humanity. President Carter's been working with Habitat volunteers who are building houses throughout the state this week. Today, he stopped by a few homes in Richmond.
That this is not a sacrifice for me and Rosen or Millard and Linda or Mindy or any of you. I think we all realize after we've gotten involved in Habitat, building houses side by side with wonderful homeowners, that this is a blessing given to us by God.
President Carter couldn't stay long, but he says he wanted to let the volunteers know they were doing something special. As photojournalist Bill Wilcox shows us now, workers say they'd be there even without the president showing.
It's like the Amish. You know how the Amish all come over to build a barn? It's like we're just building a house. Anybody can pick up a hammer and do it.
We'll work late last night, but we're going.
The whole concept is so simple, just to help your neighbor.
Coming your way, Jerry.
It's great to see this many people working together and getting things done.
His name on it, I think it makes it special for the families. On a personal level, I think it's the volunteers that does it.
One common purpose. Share Christian love and build a house for someone.
It feels good to help someone. You know, it's nice. And I think everyone needs to contribute something back to society, if you can. That's everyone's responsibility, I think, in life. So I guess this week's my small part.
I think that's probably why half the people are out here is because they're involved, and not just because of the chance of meeting them, but, you know, if he just lent his name to it, he'd get lots of volunteers, but the fact that he's out here with a hammer too, and Rosalind's out here with a hammer, I think he gets twice as many people out here doing good work. I think what he's doing with his retirement is much more worthy than going and giving speeches for $2 million a pop.
A lot of hard work and some dedicated people.
And we still have our literacy hotline open tonight. Call 255-4404. We have a panel of experts standing by. They'll take your questions about needing to learn how to read if it's you or somebody you know.
Don't you just love the rules of summer? Maybe it's time we made some new rules. That's why Lee's is bringing you free lemonade and free biscuits when you buy a 15-piece bucket of fried chicken. The 15-piece bucket with free biscuits and free lemonade. The summer rules at Lee's famous recipe.
This is a test. Right now, for a limited time, all viewers of this station will receive 30 minutes of free psychic advice as part of a national marketing test to determine viewer interest in psychic services on this television station. This is a limited time test. Our tracking system is counting total calls from viewers interested in receiving not 10, not 20, but a full 30 minutes of free psychic advice from master psychics. But you must call the number on your screen right now to receive 30 minutes of psychic advice absolutely free from the all-new Psychic Power Center.
Discover the difference at Don Jacobs Oldsmobile. The difference is Cutlass Supreme by Oldsmobile, with room for 5 fuel-injected V6 and conveniences like power windows and locks. Yours to lease for only $299 a month for a limited time. The difference is Bravada by Oldsmobile, standard with full-time all-wheel drive. Lease Bravada now for $359 a month, a special Don Jacobs value. Discover the difference at Don Jacobs Oldsmobile in Oldstown Village, Nicholasville Road at New Circle.
Coming in, guys. Heading into the pits with major damage.
To make it here, you gotta have the right tools.
Race into Shoney's now and fuel up with the $4.99 butterflied hand-breaded fried shrimp special, including fries. Only $4.99 all day, every day, only at Shoney's.
Kids, color my car and enter to win your family a racing weekend with me. It's amazing what you can do with a few crayons.
Great job, guys. Racing at Shoney's.
If you've missed any of NBC's Comedy Tuesday, then
and this week it's new to you. First, the Mad About You road trip, where Paul experiences male bonding. Ow! What are you, nuts? Then that classic Frasier with Eddie and the dog psychiatrist.
You give a dog an hour, you can bill him for 7.
And have you seen this Caroline moment? If not, it's new to you, NBC Tuesday.
Dateline Tuesday, the most expensive, prestigious, luxurious cars on the market. But how do they handle this? Dateline tonight.
It is not a statistic we are proud of. About 30,000 people in Kentucky can't read well enough to function in society. We're trying to help change that tonight with our call-in on literacy, and Bowdan standing by in the boardroom with more.
Robyn and Tom, we have a host of volunteers here from Operation Read, and they're encouraging people to call in get help and learning how to read. I'm here with Virginia Graves. Now, Virginia, this is not a single problem. This is a big problem in Kentucky.
It's a very large problem. We have more than 30,000 adults living in Lexington that need help with their reading and writing, and more than 340,000 in our state that need help. So anybody who needs help can call us and get some help.
And it's not just for those people who want to improve their reading or learn how to read. It's also for people who are coming from different countries, too, and they can learn English. Is that correct?
That's correct. We serve English as a second language students, and the 1990 census states that there are more than 10,000 adults living in Lexington who need our help. And we also train community volunteers to work with these students.
Okay, well, Virginia, go ahead and get your phone and keep calling in. They want to help everyone that they can. As you heard the numbers, you're not alone if you have trouble reading. So give us a call, 255-4404. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much, Ann. Well, coming up next in sports, Ryan Lemon says that 2 UK football players that Hal Mummy is counting on may not be back next season.
And it's being called Hoops Heaven at Transylvania University this week. We're going to show you how these ladies are doing when we come back.
It's a celebration sales event celebrating summertime and all the things you can do in your new GMC Sonoma, the sports car of pickups. This celebration sales event means big selections of new Sonomas now, including the only third-door pickup in its class. Join this celebration with the biggest cashback savings of the year. $1,000 cash back on any new Sonoma, or choose 6.9% GMAC financing for up to 60 months. Come on, join the celebration. See Frank Shoup, Brooks, Burdett, Wade, and Glenn GMC.
Hello, Pizza Hut. How much is one of your new pizzas?
$8.99.
I want pepperoni. With pepperoni.
$8.99.
Sausage. Pepperoni and sausage.
$8.99.
Peppers. Peppers. Pepperoni sausage. And pepper.
$8.99.
Mushroom. Peppers.
$8.99. Mushrooms, that's $8.99.
Now you can get one of our totally new medium pizzas for just $8.99. Topped any way you want.
How much for a second?
Just $5.
Any medium, $8.99. Second one, $5 more.
Hey, think you could take on the biggest water park around?
Yeah!
The all-new 600,000-gallon wave pool, the 1,000-foot lazy river, wild twisting water slides, the rushing river rapids, and the huge new Buccaneer Island where kids can climb, slide, and splash. So, think you could handle even more? Good, because it's right in the middle of the biggest theme park around. The new Waterworks, now twice as big and free with admission to Paramount's Kings Island. Save $7 off one day or $10 off 2-day general admission with coupons from Kroger. Park now open daily.
There's a car just waiting to be discovered. Wow. Rich in quality and reliability. Embellished with standard features like air conditioning, an AM/FM stereo, and an automatic transmission. And available at a price that's a true revelation. The 97 Accord Value Package.
Nice.
See your Honda dealer today.
If you want great taste without all the fat, go to Subway for a fresh sandwich. And right now, we've livened up our roasted chicken breast with Grey Poupon honey mustard at a Subway near you.
Have a news tip? Call the 18 Action News Tip line at 259-1818. Or from a Bell South Mobility cellular phone, dial star 1818.
I guess you could say UK's football roster is in flux.
Right, especially when you're talking about a new coach coming in with a new system, new players, and you need everybody, all the veterans especially, you need them to be there next year. But 2 players that Hal Mummy was expecting big things from next season are now apparently off the team. Starting offensive lineman David DeLaParelle and receiver Norman Mason are not attending summer school, and according to Tony Neely in the UK Sports Information Office, are not expected back for next fall. DeLaParelle here in our shadow box played in all 11 games last year as a freshman freshmen, starting 6 of them at offensive guard and offensive tackle, and he was named to the all-freshman All-SEC team. Mason also played in all 11 games, starting 2 of them, and led the team in touchdown receptions with 3. In other college football news, former Dunbar star running back Mikael Smith has been suspended from the University of Arizona football team. The Pac-10 all-freshman team member will be suspended until a campus police investigation into stolen textbooks can be resolved. As you saw earlier here in our newscast, Tubby Smith officially introduced his first coaching staff at UK today. Joining Smith on the UK bench will be a couple of familiar faces for him. Sean Finney and Mike Sutton are making the trip from Georgia to UK with Coach Smith. Finney and Sutton also coach with Tubby at Tulsa. Tubby's #1 assistant is this guy, George Felton. Smith used to be one of Felton's assistants at South Carolina.
Having known these gentlemen, that their loyalty and their work ethics are greater or as greater than mine. So that's what I'm looking for. People that are looking to outwork me. It'll be a race to see who can outwork each other.
Well, here it is, June, months away from basketball season, and Don Lane just can't get out of McAllister Auditorium. This week, Lane is hosting another edition of his annual summer camps, and Coach Lane has his hands full in this one. Over 450 young ladies are hooping it up at camp this week. There are so many campers, Trancy has to use over 80 people to work the camp and use 7 different gymnasiums. Lane says he loves this time of year because he loves working with the future basketball stars of Kentucky.
Some of the most rewarding things to me are when somebody comes up to me and say, "Hey, Coach, your camp really got me started," or "Your camp helped me make the team," or "Your team helped me make a start, end up being a starter."
He's a great coach, and he's really nice, and he's fun to be around and stuff.
Yeah, the people here are really nice, and it's really what I expected of it because most of my friends have come here before, and they tell me it was really good.
Well, former University of Kentucky baseball star Chad Green will be in action tonight, playing in an all-star game in Durham, North Carolina. It's the Carolina League versus the California League all-star game. The former Olympian plays center field from the Milwaukee Brewers single-A team in Stockton, California. And the news is not good for Cincinnati Reds fans concerning all-star shortstop Barry Larkin. Last night in the Reds' win over the Cleveland Indians, Larkin strained his left calf muscle running out this double. Today, the Reds placed Larkin on the 15-day disabled list, but the club is saying that he will be out of action for 2 to 6 weeks. Larkin has been hampered by injuries all season and had appeared to be finally over his heel injury when this happened. The Reds play the Indians again tonight at Jacobs Field. You know, the Reds won that game last night, interleague play, so they've got the bragging rights for the state of Ohio right now. And, you know, we mentioned Chad Green playing in that all-star game. Another former local star, Darren Ingram, is playing in a minor league all-star game tonight as well up in Lansing, Michigan. So a couple of our local stars getting a little primetime action there in some all-star games.
All right, making some progress. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
We're going to touch base with the newsroom to see what's in the works for 18 Action News at 11.
And we're still taking your calls on literacy, so if you need help reading or know someone who does, give us a call. Right now, though, luxury cars and their safety on Dateline NBC.
Dateline Tuesday, the most expensive, prestigious, luxurious cars on the market. But how do they handle this? I'm Stone Phillips. Join me for Dateline Tuesday here on NBC.
The suspension of a Dodge Stratus is race-inspired. Its engine performs at the Skip Barber Racing School. As for the price, it's right on track. If you buy a Dodge Stratus during the National Dodge Sale, you'll get A, 3.9% financing for 60 months, or B, $1,000 cash back. Either way, you win. Stratus, the new Dodge.
Your favorite spaghetti and double-sliced pizza are doubly delicious on brand new pasta and pizza combos. Try them on the double at Fazoli's.
Fazoli's Real Italian.
You don't need a ticket
to get a good seat at Oak Express. We have over 75 different styles of chairs, bar stools, and benches, all in stock, ready for your inspection. Now you can spruce up your old dining table with 4 new nostalgic chairs for just $196. Choose these 4 Boston chairs for $192, or add 2 bar stools to your breakfast nook for just $150 at Oak Express, 451 Southland Drive in Lexington.
Did you know that Mr. Cash makes home equity loans to homeowners like you at competitive terms? Just listen to your friends and neighbors.
I never thought I'd be raising the 2 kids by myself. And child support, that's only half the story. Mr. Cash saw the equity I had in the house as a way to get us a new start.
A couple of bad winter storms and gas prices nearly put me out of business. Mr. Cash got me the money I needed. Even my slow credit wasn't a problem.
For immediate cash, homeowners call now. 1-800-444-CASH.
WLEX-TV 18 and Parks and Recreation say come on out to Free Friday Flicks in Jacobson Park. This week there's lots to do with the magician, storytelling, face painting, and stickers, and Perky. And that's all before the movie starts. Speaking of this week's flick, it's about a...
No, Andrea, don't tell me. I want it to be a surprise.
So grab the kids and head to Jacobson Park for WLEX-TV 18 and Parks and Recreation's Free Friday Flicks. The movie starts at dusk.
Here's Tim now with a final look at the weather.
Tom and Robin, one of the things Doppler radar can do is estimate some of the rainfall, and this is the Jackson Doppler. Anytime you see some of the pink shading here, you got an inch to an inch and a half of rain. If we look real close here on the Boyle-Garrett County line into Madison County, got some little purple colors. That's the cell we've been watching, and it has been intensifying as well. It's putting out about an inch to an inch and a half of rain to almost 2 inches over the past 2 hours. That's the reason why we have a flash flood watch in effect for most of our viewing area. Let's check out the radar. The cell that I'm questioning right now with the rain is this one right there across northwestern Madison County heading up towards Clark County. Very strong in terms of heavy rain. As you can see, we've got more popping back out to our south and west. The system will be slowly moving across Kentucky the next 24 hours, so the rain is in the forecast for the next day. Forecast tonight, heading on home, flash flood watch in effect for the overnight period. Rain, heavy at times with embedded thunderstorms, a low of 66. And for your Wednesday, more rain, more thunderstorms, 77. Senate forecast is going to show you morning fog on Thursday gives way to partly cloudy skies, 82. Mid-80s with hazy sunshine for the duration of the weekend with your garden variety thunderstorms, the light ones that is.
And as we mentioned last night, even people who normally don't have flooding problems when it rains a lot are having flooding problems because the ground is so saturated. So really everybody needs to keep an eye on water levels tonight,
and
don't they?
Whomever had the problems last night, keep an eye, especially since it's nighttime. That this is occurring.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Tim. Well, can you picture someone getting married at the age of, say, 10 or even younger? Believe it or not, Kentucky's county clerks say there's no minimum age at which people can marry in this state. Nancy Cox is in our newsroom with more on that.
Robin, tonight on 18 Action News at 11, you'll hear from one woman who wants to see the law changed, and she's got the experience to prove it. Also tonight, we've got a crew following a major fire in southeastern Kentucky. We'll have the whole story. And an accident like this one always gets our attention. We'll show you how it turned out. Plus, one of Lexington's public housing complexes gets ready for a makeover. And of course, we'll be following any flash flooding should it occur tonight. So stay up after Dateline NBC.
All right, thank you, Nancy.
Well, throughout this broadcast, we've been taking your calls on a large but hidden problem in this state, illiteracy. But we do have some encouraging news. A lot of people have been calling to get help. Ann Bowdan has been in our boardroom with the panel of experts who've been taking those calls. Ann?
Tom, it's encouraging. A lot of people have been calling. These phones have been busy, so people out there want to get help. We're going to talk to Ruthie Maslin. Now, Ruthie, you all need help as well with volunteers, correct?
Certainly. Our program depends heavily on volunteers. We have volunteer tutors who work with the literacy level students, as well as volunteers who work in a lot of different capacities in our program. It's kind of a wide-reaching program in the county, so we always have a need for people to work one-to-one with the student or to work with a small group, help us in our office, you know. We offer a tutor training program. Our next one is going to start on August the 5th, and you can call 254-9964, and I'd be glad to send you some information about the tutor training program.
All right, thank you, Ruthie. And Tom, this is a free and confidential service, Operation Read, so they want people to call their organization, and the number again was 254-9964. So if you're interested, give Operation Read a call. Tom?
Okay, thank you very much, and thanks to our panelists and all the callers as well.
And just a reminder to everyone that coming up Thursday night, we have Zydeco as the band at Thursday Night Live on the Courthouse Square, and we hope that you'll come out and join us for that. Hopefully the rain will hold off.
The weather looks good for Thursday night right now.
All right, thanks so much for joining us. NBC Nightly News is next. We'll see you again at 11.